Here we are. Hey, everybody.
Yay! I'm back. Hey, Kate, it's good to see you.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it
Oh,
worked out that we could do this because I know there was
I
some
know.
solar flares and,
Oh,
technical
a lot of
stuff.
BS going out there. But yeah, and then I had a really big foreboding, sense of foreboding about getting on a plane. I don't know why.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
like that. And I got in okay, and everything was okay. And the next day, in Seattle, there was an Alaska Airlines that they had to bring back because it was falling apart. So,
Oh,
you
my
know,
gosh.
I'm
There
glad it
you
wasn't mine.
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but everybody's
Oh,
okay.
my gosh.
Everybody's
That, that's
anyway.
awesome.
Sorry. Welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here. I see Linnea and Maura and Craig and Diana. Wow, Scott. Good to see you, Scott and Jackie. And who else is here? Who else? I saw somebody else. I think. No,
Jess,
maybe not. Sharon Sype.
Vicky,
Sharon Sype. Yep. All right. And Scott says we're talking about one of his favorite movies. Oh, that's great. Oh, hi,
yay.
Jess. Yes, and Vicky. It's good to see
Hmm.
you. Thanks for coming. Yeah. So yeah, it took me yesterday. I'm glad I didn't have anything yesterday because I flew on Monday,
Yeah.
and yesterday I was discombobulated, really,
Yeah.
because it's a 3 hour time difference, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
One of the
yeah.
tricks they told us when we travel is to tell our grounding what city we're in
Uh-huh.
because it's still looking for the old city. So it's like,
It's like the
you can
satellite.
feel like
Yeah,
you're, wait a minute.
I know.
So,
And
yeah.
and my I even rebooted all my computers, but I still have. I don't know why. I still have
Mhm.
the Pacific time listed. So I'm sitting here and it's 9:08 and I'm thinking, "Oh my god, we go on at 10 because that's what time it is out west." And I'm
Yes.
running in to take my shower and I'm like, "Wait a minute, it's 6 o'clock in the morning where she is."
Oh
I'm
my
totally
gosh. You must have been excited about doing this show. That is
I
so
really was.
cool.
Yes, I
Yeah.
was. And
It
I'm
was such
sorry
a
we
good
had to
movie.
reschedule. Yeah.
No, it's
Sorry we had to
okay.
reschedule, but
Yep.
spirit tells us what to do. So,
And perfect timing.
anyway,
There's always good reasons
perfect
for
timing.
why. Yep.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
always good reason.
Very good. And Sharon, I don't know if you heard me shout out to you, but thanks for being here as well. You're
Hi,
so
Sharon.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
Jackie
yes,
is here.
we're going to talk about what dreams may come. And I want to say that the first time I watched this movie was in 1998 when it came out,
Me
and
too.
I remember loving it. And what I remember loving about it is that they were talking about death in a really positive way,
Yes.
showing it and everything, and thinking to myself, even when they went into the depths of hell,
Hmm.
um, of one's own making. If you
Hmm.
believe you did so well, then that's where you're going to be. And I don't think there were a lot of movies out before this one that handled that. I think maybe the only one, and I think it was later, was the one where they go, what is the one? Oh, Defending Your Life. That's another one. That's an
That's
actor.
another one that's on our list, right?
I think so. Yeah. But that came
Yeah.
out later. I like that one too, because we didn't get very many movies that were positive about
Right.
dying.
Right.
Not that we won't.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
especially dealing with, a romance.
Right.
How
True.
much of it was romantic? How much of it was, this couple in love?
Yep.
So
Yep.
really, really beautiful statements all the way through it about
Just lots of
stuff that we
beautiful
all
stuff.
agree with, and it was so nice to have somebody just confirm it, come in and say,
Yes,
"Yep,
absolutely.
this is what I
Yes.
think."
Uh-huh. And Scott
Yeah,
said he saw it right after it went to DVD in 99. And that was what, 23 years ago? Gee
right.
whiz, where did the time go?
Yeah, but so vivid in my mind still. Pieces of
Right.
it were just so
I
vivid,
think the
right?
colorful part of it
Mm-hmm.
is, you
Mm.
know,
That
Craig,
was
you
gorgeous.
are true. You are right. There are many movies that deal with it, but maybe not in such a specific way as that one did at the time. But yes, what is the one? And he didn't die, but it was the Christmas one. Um, you know what I'm talking about with Jimmy Stewart. It was a Wonderful Life. That wasn't really
So
a death one, but it was dealing with the subject. So yes, it is visually stunning. Hi, Jane. It's good to
right.
see you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah,
The
it is
other
visual.
thing, sorry.
Go ahead. Hon. No.
There's another one too that might be really fun to explore. I don't know if people can get it on demand or not, but it's called Heart and Souls, and it's with Robert Downey Jr. and Kira Sedgwick and Alfie Woodard and
That would fit my name really well here. It really would. Why not?
Oh my gosh, we have to do that movie.
Yeah,
let's research it and find out if people can actually find it. But it's a comedy. Also, and it's Elizabeth. Why can't I pull up her name? Blonde. She was in The Saint. She was in The Saint. Oh well, it'll come to me. Anyway, we'll look into that one too, because this is the name of the show.
That's right. This is the name of the show.
Heart and Soul.
City of Angels. Yeah. The oil painting. Here's a couple of them. Here comes Mr. Jordan. Oh, Heart and Souls. That's what Craig brought up. Good.
Yeah.
Good. We'll be doing that then. We'll definitely be checking it out. And I just want to say hello to Lady Soul. I went to cancel last week for everybody. Oh, Elizabeth McGovern. Thank you. And she had COVID and she's still recuperating. So I want to send her lots of love, lots of healing. So she's feeling better. But a lot of love to you, dear. And we'll be seeing her soon. I'm glad you're feeling better. Hello, Mary Thornberry. It's good to see you, dear. Yes.
And Janet. Hi, Janet.
Oh, Janet. You snuck in there, Janet. Carolyn Adams. Hi, honey. Yes.
Come on
it's Elizabeth Shue. Okay.
Elizabeth Shue. Yes, that's the one. That's in Heart and Souls.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first one you remember is Stairway to Heaven with David Niven.
Ooh. Oh. Right, and there was that other one. Oh my gosh, with George Hamilton and
George Hamilton?
Late for Heaven or something like that.
Made in Heaven.
Yeah. No, it's so much fun. I think we should do this like on a regular basis. But I love hanging out with you.
I mean, certainly in the winter we'll all be more hogtied to home, and But I'd be happy to do it. I always wanted to do these types of things. It's just that the interest you have to, and the book thing is great, but a lot of people don't read. And some people don't like movies, but there are more movie buffs, I think. So,
it's awesome.
So, my first thought, though, honestly, after what I just said, and then I'll let you introduce some ideas, was I wonder if Robin saw that when he went over. And it was my first thought because he's not here anymore. And I thought to myself, I hope he did, because I hope he doesn't end up down there for killing himself, And I don't think he will. I think, I'm not a big believer in that lower part, really. I think it's a hell you make for yourself. But I did think about that. I wonder if it met Robin's expectations after doing this movie,
The way that I viewed Robin Williams was someone who actually knew how to totally embrace life. He just went for it. He loved it. He loved life. And he loved everything about it. So,
that's right.
That exuberance that just came out in the humor and in his acting ability. And, here was a guy who was wealthy. He was married he was born into a wealthy family. He didn't have to go work, but he had such a joy in participating in this experience.
But he was very depressed too. I think in his personal, it's very interesting I just watched a Richard Simmons video last night on Hulu.
Yeah.
And they said that he was not like that. He was very internalized. Quiet. And I'm thinking Robin was. I know Freddie Mercury was. So sometimes this is an act, but he always convinced you, I think. That he was
I think it's kind of hard to fake or act the excitement and the joy that he brought in. I know that's a piece of him. You can't, as an actor and all the acting that I did, you have to draw on what and you have to be able to project that back out again. So, for me, I think that when he got there that he was like, ta-da! Okay, that's,
I made jokes about it, but here I am.
Yeah. At the end, there was such confusion. At the end,
Yeah.
there was such, confusion and
Well,
and
what he had
stress.
was really bad for him. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah,
And you're right, but it made, that's, he just
yes.
couldn't deal with it anymore. And that's actually Richard Simmons. Yeah, I knew he did Swampy. He had Lewy body disease, so he did have that. But and
Yeah,
Richard Simmons just doesn't want people to see him with a cane and being an old man. He wants people to remember him as being, because he hasn't been seen for a long time.
a long
He won't,
time.
yeah, but he's not dead.
He inspired so many. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I
Oh,
agree. I
Craig's
think
got
that
a whole list of movies here. Go ahead.
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I think that when he got there was relief. I think
I
that he
think
was
so.
free of body issues, and
Yep.
and he could just return into joy. So yeah.
Yep. True.
So what's
All
your
right,
first
so let's
question?
I don't really have questions, but let's see. This was a Richard Matheson book. He writes the best books. I believe he also wrote the one Jane Seymour and Christopher Reeve were in that I absolutely
Time.
adore.
Something about time.
Something about
Yeah.
Somewhere in Time. I think
Somewhere
he wrote
in
that book.
Time. That darn penny. Leave him at home.
Oh, what's wrong with you? And it shows the power of the mind, doesn't it? Well, anyway,
Yes.
that's a different movie. But he wrote those
Oh my
books. And then we just have some beautiful imagery, including lots and lots of bluish purple flowers.
Yeah.
So that there is a point to that.
Yes.
So I want you to go ahead and bring out what it is that you'd like to say, because I have just, I wrote some stuff, but
yeah.
And anybody else that has anything to say, yeah.
Right. So I got the impression that certain colors represented certain people. So red equaled Annie, right? Annie was the red sail, was the red scarf, was the red blanket. Annie was the red. And Christy, or Robin Williams, was the blue. And when they were together and when they were happy, it was purple.
It was purple.
Oh, it was purple.
Okay, so colors. Yes,
yes,
yeah,
right. Okay, so on that periwinkle coming down in the seams, and this was their heaven. This was, framed in all of the purples and the pinks and the reds, and it was so beautiful. It was just so beautiful.
Right.
And along those lines, in the coloring and the playing with the color. When they were down in the lower part and she couldn't see who he was, she couldn't acknowledge that was Christy right in front of her. She was black and gray and white, and he was in color. And it wasn't until she started remembering him that her cheeks and stuff started to fill up with color. And it was just that to me.
I didn't even notice that. And I love that you brought that up. Thank you.
It was profound. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful because to me, that is how we connect when we connect with the ones that we love. You have to remember the spirit, not the imagery, right? So, the whole idea that your thoughts are the real thing in life, and that everything else is an illusion. Everything else just disappears. It's like, oh my gosh.
It's what you think. Right. You see what it isn't you believe what you see, but it's you see what you believe.
Right.
That's the difference.
So if you were to
aura colors were brought together too, wouldn't you say that was aura? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So if you were to be a color in a movie, Allie, what color would you be?
I'd probably be a shade of blue because I love it so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it might be more like, or sky, what is sky blue pink? Because it's
when they're both there.
When they're both there.
When they were there. It was just stunning. And I loved how he was walking in paint. In the beginning when he gets there and he's walking in paint and he's like, what is this?
And I also love the fact that the people that came to guide him were not his children, but they were his children. That really blew my mind. Yes, absolutely.
Again, you have spirit to spirit. Once that connection's there, that all falls away, and you know who they are.
Falls away.
Gorgeous stuff.
Absolutely.
Really beautiful. Beautifully done too. Because it's hard, I think, sometimes to express and be able to explore these concepts that are are really difficult to put words in, but you can put imagery to it, or you can put music to it. And in that way it gets absorbed rather
Yep.
than, you know,
Yep. What about,
rather than heard.
you've heard of synesthesia, I think it's called, where you can smell color? Have you ever heard of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Some
have
people
ghosts in my house.
Yeah.
I have ghosts in my
Okay.
house that leave beautiful perfume, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
So what color would you be, Kate? You asked me
I
mine.
think I would be like a magenta, like a
Oh,
vibrant,
that's a beautiful color
right? A
too.
purpley, hot, pinky magenta. You know,
Uh-huh.
something
Yes.
that kind of screams.
Here I am,
Here
folks.
I am. I'm the best part of the sunset. I'm over here.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
Oh my gosh. Too much fun, huh?
I'm trying to think here. The tunnel becomes a part of the scenery. When they go through, he goes through the tunnel. The paint is wet, and then the dog comes, and the dog is young again. That always thrills me.
Isn't that
That your
beautiful?
dogs will come back, and even if they were old and they couldn't move, they're running through. And
Yes, all of them. It was
Yep.
really,
I'm
really
sure there would
precious.
be cats there too. If they were, if they had cats in the movie, they would have had cats there. But
Well,
yeah,
and even how the dog interacted with his daughter, and she kept saying,
yes,
you know, my thing is about the animals, and you know, and the way the dog reacted to her was the way that he would have seen the dog react to his daughter in a different form. So
yeah,
even that would like spark the memory of, oh, I know what this is. I know what
yes,
this is, right?
right,
So
yep,
there's a phrase that keeps running through my head after watching this movie, and that is, I know it by heart. We think of it like a memorization, but really
right,
what it is really like an etching on your heart. It's not going anywhere. It's your connections. It's your knowing. I know by
right, yeah,
heart what my heart is saying. And
right,
so that's that connection that we share with each other, that
right.
knowing of each other.
That
So
memory. Well, it
anyway.
reminds me too of I brought Caramel with me here to the East Coast, and
Mm-hmm.
she just is. She's 10 years old. I've had her 3 months, and she's my dog. She has been from the first time I saw her, and I just think she's reincarnated. So I just,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking, if when I die, they meet you first. They meet you before the people do, and that was in the movie. It was like,
Yes. Oh, yay. Something is so good, right? To look forward to. It's so good.
So Kelly's saying that there's feedback from your audio. I don't hear it,
Oh,
but anyway, I don't know that she can do anything about it. Thanks,
I
Kel.
don't know if I can either.
Yeah, Nick. Yeah, sorry. Jess says it's interesting his children came to him in different bodies. My mother told me to look for the 28-year-old blonde ballerina. I love that, Jess.
Oh my
We become, they said that we become the age which we felt the most vibrant and happy. And I don't want to return to my 30s now. I'm happy being where I am now. But that would be a nice time to be eternal in, is my 30s.
Yes.
You
Right.
didn't have all those aches and pains.
Right.
Yeah.
I turned the mic down, so if she wants to let me know if the echoing has stopped, that would be really helpful.
If the echoing is, could somebody tell us if the echoing stopped? That would be helpful. Thanks to everybody.
Thank you.
So Mary Thornberry, you're not alone, Mary. You'd be met by a zoo. Yeah, I understand. I understand. I'd probably at least probably have about 10 dogs coming my way. But yeah.
See, that's how I am with kitties. At one point, I stopped counting at like 23 over my life.
Yeah.
You know,
There you go.
I don't remember a time.
Okay.
Echo's gone? Good.
Yep.
Yay.
And Jane. Thanks, ladies. Jane, too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Cindy. You haven't watched these talks on this movie, but the guy that wrote it with his wife who passed away on the other side. Oh, I did not know that. Richard Matheson's wife passed away. So he actually probably wanted to believe it and let other people believe it as well at the time. At the time, 1998, not as open as we are, although there was some opening. I mean, I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it was 89. I'm sorry, 89,
Mm-hmm.
not 98.
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting. It also sort of, has hints of whispering. Like, did she share it with him? That, look, honey,
Uh-huh.
this is what it's going to be like. You know, let
Yeah.
me show you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me show you. Oh, your mom comes through usually at the age of 45, the 70s. Look, that's cute. She must like the bell bottoms. Yeah.
Yeah. Platform shoes.
Oh, the hot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cute. That's really
That is
cute.
sweet. That's so sweet.
So let's see what else I got here. Let's see what else you got. I said here, heaven is our own picture.
Mhm.
So I really love the idea that we create the heaven for us. And you saw how some of those folks were clueless that they actually had the ability to get out. And when I saw who played, what is the guy's name? The older, was it Max von Sydow?
Yes. Yeah.
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 Every
Yeah.
time I think of him, I think of it like the devil. He played devilish parts.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think actually at one point he might have even played Christ,
Oh,
way back in the 60s. But when
yeah.
I saw him, I thought, what a perfect person for who he was in that movie. And he
Yeah.
was what, the traveler or something like that brings him into hell. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That lets him
Mhm.
go. It guides him, accompanies him, supports him, knows what it's
Yep.
about,
Right.
and knows the in and the out. And so, that wisdom, that incredible wisdom that says, wait a minute now, let me warn you, you only have a limited amount of time. And if you
Uh-huh.
decide to stay, you are stuck. And
You are.
how
Yeah.
powerful that was, in how in our
Right.
own minds, though, that if we
Yep.
decide to stay in a place that's dark, how hard that is to come out, how
Yeah.
hard that is
Well,
to break
because you're
away.
only surrounded by those dark people as well, and
Right.
all the dark.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
Cerebus, the dog of the dead, that showed up there in that area. Actually, the wards were on one of the boats.
Mm.
And so, it's almost, that's metaphoric as well. When we're in the same boat down
Yes.
here, we're in the same boat.
Yes.
One makes their own heaven. You create your own, which I already said. What is the me came up? If you are still aware you exist, you still do. And didn't that happen at first? He was confused, like,
Yes.
what the
What is
hell's
this?
going on to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
And we see what we choose to see. And so what about the red poppies? Is that part of her as well?
I
It
think that's
is.
Annie too. Yes, that Annie's
Oh,
coming. Sometimes in film they'll have like specific music for a character. So
uh-huh.
each main character will have their own theme that will go through the movie, so that it's another layer of
Right.
drawing the audience into that character.
Into that
And it,
character. And she
yeah,
was a painter. So yeah, that would make
yes.
sense.
Yeah, I have to admit, as much as I love music, the music was so quiet in this that I
Yeah.
actually didn't tune into it like in a lot of movies that I do. So
Yeah. I
I
understand.
appreciate yeah, I appreciated that though
But
too, because it was so
for its
quiet.
time, because
Yeah,
cinema has really changed in the last 20 something years. For its
right.
time, it was really well done, I thought,
It's very
but
well
the,
done.
mu- the music maybe should have been turned up a bit. Yeah.
Says the girl who's echoing all through the world.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
Um, you hope it would be escapable, but it's better than any other version. That's very true, Scott. I love that. Okay, Craig. You see, what's going on is this. The first time you watch anything,
Mhm,
there's so much it overloads you, number one.
mhm, mhm.
And I hadn't seen it since it came out. I had the video, but I didn't watch it. And when I watched it, to me, it was a totally new movie because I'm
Mhm.
different. And the movie came out different. And I know a little bit more, and I saw things I didn't see the first time. So that's
Right.
why I like, The Sixth Sense. Yeah, that's another good one. The Sixth
Oof.
Sense is a great
Oof.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really powerful one too. But
Yeah.
it's really interesting too, with the amount of time in between that we've had to be able to look
Yeah.
at this movie
To
too,
be
and
able to look
how
at it.
personally
Yep.
we've grown or changed. So the
True.
stuff that we
Yep.
might have paid attention to back then is probably different than what we're paying attention
It
to now.
is. And everybody
Yeah.
else in here individually might find something in there. One of the things that bothered me, and rightfully so, was all the faces that he had to walk over.
Oh my gosh.
And
Oh my gosh.
ow, and it's like they couldn't face their fears, or they're facing their fears. So there's something about the word face that comes out to me there. Yeah.
That whole concept of forgiveness, that whole concept of acceptance and love, in loving yourself enough to forgive yourself enough so that you can let it go. You can let it go and let it be. And that being stuck in a place that, feels like there are no options, like there's no hope.
And they don't even realize that they could accept that it's done, and if they could move past the fact that they're condemning themselves to hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes,
it is
that
creepy. That sense of worthiness, like I can have happiness again. I can have joy again. And the preconceived ideas that we get told in our culture or in our families or in our lives that just interfere with the reality of, wait, no, bottom line, love is your answer. It's always the answer. It's love yourself, love each other.
Right.
It's just really hard. It's really hard sometimes.
And actually, the guide tells him he wants to go to hell to get her out. And he tells him it's impossible. And he says, denial is stronger than love. And
for what it does to you. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah. That pull, that anchor.
That really just boom, hit me. Some of the words this time really hit me. And I would write down. Yeah.
Even if we look at it where we're talking about now, third density, fifth density, right? Higher vibration, lower vibration. So it's the same conversation, just a little bit different terminology about how that can affect you, how that can affect everything around you and the energy you're bringing in.
Right.
But yeah, it was just amazing.
It was. I found out here that in the ship to hell, people had a lot of baggage. Remember that? And they had the inability to speak because they felt unheard.
Yep.
And then it says, what was the other thing? Somebody wrote, not me, starting as an exploration of the imagination and ends with a statement of compassion.
Beautiful.
I love that. I didn't say it. Somebody else
yes.
did, and I'll give them credit. But yeah, isn't it a great analogy? Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. That's beautiful. The other one that came up when, and I don't know if it was just that I was picking up on what Christy was going through or what the guide was saying to Christy, but it was your intentions with the energy that you give them creates the manifestation. So it's all part of the experience and how we go through it. And where does it start? Does the intention come from a heart thought or from an ego thought? Which one are you coming from? And that determines what shows up in your life. And the whole thing about what role are we playing for each other in each lifetime, and how that can change in each lifetime. Sometimes we can be brothers, sisters, wives, moms, which role are we playing this time?
Different labels.
Yeah.
But if we can look at that and say that they can create their own reality on the other side, then we can also know that we created here.
Absolutely.
And live it.
Yep.
You don't want to have to wait till it's almost like we were told that you can't, if you want to go to heaven or if you want to, be accepted or whatever, you have to do these things.
Right.
And we got that from religion, and so it was always the prize was on the other side. It was always that, or the real deep penance that you have to pay. But it's the same way here. It is. We do have to sometimes pay penance, but yeah.
But I agree with you, Ali. I believe that heaven is here now too. It's here. We just have to ask for it and look for it, and then experience it.
Yeah, we do.
Either one. Yeah, either one.
Vicki, you're right. easier to believe the worst about yourself than the best. So when you start to have those ideas coming into your mind, that's when you have to make the switch, and you have to say, nope, cancel, cancel, cancel,
Yeah.
and then
Delete,
reaffirm.
delete.
We are. And
Yeah.
and yes, we are in a space of reevaluating agreements, and there is always hope. I love that. Thank you.
I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks
where
for
those
all.
mantras come in, where people do mantras, where they're, whether it's in the language that whether it's not the language, repeating that so that you're rewriting that record that says, I'm not worthy, or whatever the self concept is, so that you can really shine and understand that you're in a beautiful soul that needs to be shining for the rest of us. So it's like,
That's right.
but it's really complicated. These are not always easy, or even,
No.
the ones sometimes we show up so that we'll have empathy, right? So it's
Absolutely.
interesting dynamic.
So the compassion is shown. And Scott's right. It is so nice that the afterlife was void of religion, as far as, having to deal with all that. And it was just more, one thing or the other. And which one are you going to choose?
Right.
And it really wasn't about penance. It wasn't about purgatory. It wasn't about the devil standing there or anything,
Right.
But
and St. Peter saying, excuse me, who are you?
Wait
do
a minute.
I know you?
I do yes.
Go back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
And yes, the real miracle is our human life we get to experience in human form. And yes, it is a miracle every single day.
Every day.
Yeah, it really
every
is.
Day.
Thank you, dear.
I heard that song the other day. I just want to celebrate another day of life. I just want to celebrate.
Another day
of living. Yes.
Yep. No, I'm not afraid to die. I don't think I want to just yet, but I really think it isn't such a bad place. It's maybe very nice. I don't. I haven't heard anybody on the other side come when the mediums come and say, "Hey, you know what? It sucks over here. You better watch out."
Really. I want you to do 80 million Hail Marys. Hurry. Because, it's not that way. They all talk, the near-death experiences, they all talk about them, how soothing and calm and peaceful and relaxed and, full of joy. It's amazing.
And I'm enjoying myself over here. I'm resting. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Yep.
I'm floating. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, too, that was interesting was how the boats crashed. Both times.
Yes.
Both within both. Yes. They both came together with a bang. Okay. Something that was unexpected, at least for the moment, was really clever to me, as far as the universe showing you that, pay attention, here it is, kaboom.
That's right.
We're going to give it to you.
Yep.
And it was so sweet the way they did it, both times. Both times. Yeah. It was really sweet. So we have to look for our little bangs, our little crashes. It seem like crashes, but really aren't. They really aren't. They're just a way to get our attention.
It's a good movie as well, because people crash into each other all the time because they don't pay attention. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Cartomancy, you've died 3 times. Oh my! And then one of our people from Thank You for Coming from Facebook. It just shows you the Facebook user. So I don't know your name, and I'm sorry, but she's an NDE stage 4 cancer thriver, and paint your own canvas on the other side. Good for you, honey.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah. What a beautiful way to put it.
Well, I love Angela Cartomancy Mesquite, and if it was wonderful, I love that affirmation, and I believe. Yeah, I'm there. I know.
Yeah.
And Valerie did it too. So, Scott says it was serendipity with the boats crashing.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's a good one.
He's watched about 7 times. So yes, I want to hear different things from people. We do, both do. Yeah, we're not the ones that know everything about the movie. We just wanted to facilitate.
Share it. Yeah.
Anybody that wants to say anything, please.
Hop in.
Let's see. There was something. Annie is in the mud. It is in mud like rest, but her head is only there. I don't remember what that was.
Where
It
she's
says
in the
here-
mud?
She's in the mud, yeah. And that's being stuck somewhere, right?
Yes.
This is a space to go. This is the space we go to also in waking dreams and shamanic training. I read that as well. So the
Nice.
place that we go to in those, and I've had people, I believe I had Terry Suzuki. She goes to a place and it's like a teepee, and she does healing in the teepee. And, so she has this place she goes to that's like a shamanic journey. So yes, and because this, of course, is a dream detective show, so to speak, where we go there to get our questions answered. We just think that the answers are kind of funky, and we don't get them all the time. But
there's a process where I go to across a creek, a running creek, and then up into what I call my meadow. It's my meadow. It's whatever I wanted it. It's the kitties, the swing, the temperature, the breeze, all of those things in my meadow. And from there, I can go and access healers or advisors or guides or lost loved ones. And that's even in a meditative state. So the teepee can be anything wherever you want that to be.
Yeah. It can be a teepee, it can be a bubble, it can be a spaceship, whatever it is, or a garden. Yeah, it can be anything. Everybody's different.
Absolutely.
But it's a special place you like to go. Usually, when I am asked to do that, I go to like a bluff on a seashore.
Nice.
And there's a bench there. That's where I meet Dad, or not the Dalai Lama, but the Buddha, whatever. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to highlight some points that were made from different folks. Hold on, I brought it here. But I want you to also
Buddha. Hi,
Emerald Buddha says, what we have to remember, there is really no afterlife. There is only life. We are a continuous and eternal life. I agree with you. Yeah, it's just another space that we inhabit.
Yes.
Yeah, our consciousness inhabits. Yeah, thank you. That's beautiful. And Craig, your mom used to work. Your mom used to work as a person in hospice. Is that what I got? Yeah, she said a patient would pass away for a few minutes, and the doctors brought her back, and she was angry. Why did you bring me back? She's probably having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where they have the DNR. They have and I remember my brother, he signed a DNR because he was not going to make it anyway. And then the next day he didn't want it. He changed his mind. So they took it away. And the next day he said, bring me back the DNR.
Oh,
he just didn't know. And then he just knew. And he was ready by that time. So
I had a really good friend who we visited in the hospital after an emergency room condition. And when we went to see her, she was really angry. And I was like, why are you so upset? What's wrong? Are they not treating you well? And she goes, I was ready. I was ready to go. I told everybody I was ready to go. And I thought, well, then why did your family call 911? Right? If she's already gone through all of that.
The family doesn't want them to go. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why most of them don't go. A lot of them say, that have the choice. It makes it sound like you have a choice. And I really think you do. It's for some people. Some people it's, accident or whatever it is quick. But I think there are some people that hang on or they leave early, one or the other. They just, but most of them will die if you go into the bathroom to pee and they come out, they're dead because they wanted you to leave for a few minutes.
For a minute. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you
100%. Unless you're like my husband who sat there and held his grandmother's hand and wouldn't leave her side and helped her cross to the other side. But some people can't do that. So that's all right. We are so capable of deep connection in this human form, except it is imagination, belief in what it is that you want to see is so key to getting this done. Yes. Scott says, I love that, Kate. I've been having a hard time remembering my dreams. Dream journal, voice memo hasn't worked. Okay.
Oh,
So, yeah,
okay.
you could start with visualization, Scott, like Kate said. Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
And one of the
invite.
easiest ways to remember is to, like we did one show where it was ask for something funny, ask for something that isn't serious or intense,
Yep.
ask for something that's light and fun and, even silly, something that just makes
Yep.
you wake up laughing, right? And see if that
Yep.
will help you. Because
See if it will
sometimes
help.
that'll,
Yep.
yeah,
Definitely.
sometimes.
Definitely. And yes, Swampy, you're right. Scott, ask your guides or ask your mom. Tell your mom you want to. Her mom just passed recently, and ask your
Oh,
mom to help bring
I
your
didn't know
guides to you. He just adored his mother, and as we all
that.
do, love our mothers. But yeah, she's she hasn't been gone very long.
Mhm.
So Jane says she felt that way during a past. Oh wow, that's awesome. But I understand. I've had a past life too, and I didn't want to come back either. I was having a good time. I was
Yeah.
seeing things that I wanted to see.
But I think that because we're talking about having heaven here, you can
Right.
have heaven right now. So with the
Yep.
experience that Jane had in remembering it, she can recreate it now.
Yep.
That,
Uh-huh.
that whatever that joy was, whatever that experiences were, are in her
Mhm.
heart. It's embedded in her heart. The
It is
path and the
embedded.
compass is there. Okay, it's there. So accessing it and bringing it and making it real, thought plus energy equals the manifestation. So
Definitely.
remember the details, right? Just remember those
Yep.
details and give them that intention and that energy and that joy and love and wonderful feeling, the euphoria that you felt during that process can be yours without having to go through
Absolutely.
the whole process.
Next time you have a past life regression, um, tape it, listen to it. You can go back there
Yes.
because they'll bring you back there. I've
Wonderful.
had that
Wonderful
happen,
idea.
and
Yeah,
I
wonderful.
loved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there is no visual. It's you're the visual, and maybe you have a
Mhm.
different experience the second time or the third time, but you've taped it, and now you can go back and at
Yeah.
least get down to that level again.
Yeah.
Very important. Um,
So I wanted
let's
to
see.
ask if you noticed at the beginning of the movie that there were
Okay.
three icons, there were three symbols at the front of the page of the screen. The very,
Okay.
very, very beginning of the screen of the movie, there was an angel, there was a planet, and there was
Uh-huh.
fire.
Uh-huh.
So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh my gosh, even starting up the beginning of the movie had the three main components of what we were
Right.
talking about. Right.
What
So
you were talking.
I just thought that
Yep.
was so clever.
It is.
And I
It
don't know
is.
whether they were like symbols for the production companies or whatever, but I just noticed it on the screen and thought, that's interesting. I remember I used to
Yeah.
be able to click on something that was like special features so that you could,
Yep.
see
Yep.
bloopers or deleted
Right.
scenes or
Right.
right,
Yeah.
whatever. We don't get that as very much
Those are some
anymore,
of the
but
best things you can do. Yeah. But there's always symbols in every dream. Every
mhm.
dream. I'm sorry. There's always symbols in every movie. And I was told in my training when I teach it that we almost get hit over the head with the symbol so that we'll get it because we
Yeah,
don't usually get it if we
yeah,
aren't.
yeah.
And it's like if it's almost insultingly there. It really is. It's
Well,
like fourth grade level. Yeah. And I don't, I know they do that for you to remember it. And so at
yeah,
least subconsciously you're remembering it because there's nothing in any movie that isn't meant to be in that movie. So
yes,
let's say, for instance, like my backdrop here, if this was a movie, I wouldn't want to have this candle here or whatever, because
yeah.
everything has a purpose.
Mhm,
And that's the way directors work. And
mhm,
sometimes, mistakes are made and things like that. But no, it really is true. It's
mhm.
amazingly true. So there's a questions here. Let's see.
Right?
Not questions, but Jess says her mom's last words before she transitioned was "Goodbye, fair world." She has a good sense of humor. I learned so much about death and afterwards from her. For her, she was going home. That's beautiful,
Yes,
Jess.
it is
Thank you for
beautiful.
sharing that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a beautiful way to say good, say so long for now,
So long
to
for
mom.
now. Exactly.
And so Stott wants to know, do you have a YouTube channel? And I will say, not just yet.
There's one there. It doesn't have anything in it.
And
yeah.
she's here with me on the Dream Detectives usually, and she's going to be doing something also later on with Illumination Portal. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't know when. And then eventually she will have her own channel because she's awesome.
You guys are too kind. You're too kind. I just love doing this. I love sharing. It's so beautiful. And we, when we're done, we're like, woohoo! We're like bouncing off the walls.
It brings up your vibration. It does. Yeah,
it does.
Absolutely.
It does. So there was one thing that I had written down about the movie, and I wrote down losing fear equals seeing clearly and accepting. Right?
Clearly,
when you move away from fear, then suddenly the clarity becomes easier because what you're seeing isn't clouded by all of the darkness or all of the stuff that fear wants to bring in.
Wow.
So I thought that was really interesting too, that it was coming in lot of love, fear battle.
Yeah, I think it's the first thing because we come from the ancestry of flight or fight, that we still have that innate thing. The first thing we think of is it's new, it's different, you're right. Yeah,
absolutely.
At the very end, he says, sometimes when you lose, you win. I like that.
Yes.
And at the end, you know what? I really love the end. When I was young, I met this beautiful girl by a lake. And that's how it started. That's how the movie started, didn't it?
Yes.
They were on the lake. That's right.
Yes.
And that's how the movie ended. So it came full circle. It was like the hero's journey.
Yes.
In a way. Yeah.
And it was so cute how she was talking to him in another language. Just to see, that flirty, that fun.
Yes.
Flirty the fun. Adventurousness. Yeah. In some ways, the more that we experience in life, there can be a sense of being dragged down because there's so much experience that's happened. When you're young, you're looking forward to all of the great adventures that you're going to have, all of the dreams that you're going to make come true, all of those things. And then experience comes in and kicks in and goes, hello, this is life. This is real life.
Pay the bills.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Yeah. We can't all be on the stage and we all can't be making millions of records, so it is that challenge of always staying in a place of hope to manifest, to create, to bring that in to your life. That is always the challenge, because this just absolutely gets in the way. It just gets in the way. It's almost like if we didn't have this and we were only operating from our hearts, it would always, everybody would just have heaven. Everybody would just be enjoying each other's heaven.
I just
hey, come on over to my heaven.
My heaven, it's much better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that we have 3 hearts, three heads. I'm sorry, 3. We have a heart in the brain. We have a heart in the chest, and we have a heart or a gut. The gut. Oh. It's all the intuition. All the 3.
Okay.
And this one usually is like, well, I don't know. It's like the little devil and the little angel, and this one is more, as you well know. This one here is the one that we want to operate from it as most we can. But a lot of people will say, like it's a bad thing. They'll say, well, my heart wants it, but my head says no. It's so they discount it.
Yeah,
to me, this means more. Yeah. And then, of course, there's a gut feeling, and we all get those gut. That's unfortunately how I felt when I was feeling that way all week before I came. But I would think I hadn't traveled since COVID, and I was just really stressed. So
well, and it's always good to just kind of run away. Everybody needs that downtime, that rest time, and we can be so busy doing things that we forget how nice it is to not have the alarm clock. How nice it is
because we are human beings.
Yeah. So my heart up here is more like W.C. Fields. Get away, kid. You make me nervous. You bother me. That's what it is. Get away,
Get
kid.
away,
You
kids, you bother me. Yeah.
Yeah,
He didn't like anybody that
I
likes
don't have
kids and dogs. He doesn't like kids and dogs. Remember? Anybody that likes kids and dogs is not my friend.
Yeah, that's my little. I don't have a devil in there. I have a WC filled or something.
You have a WC field?
Something, yeah.
And I have the Groucho Marx, say the secret word, win $50. You know, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Or now look at the fine mess you've got me into.
You put us in all of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is true. The gut brain is a mighty protector. It is. So we must listen to it. We must listen to it. And I kept fighting myself because I wondered where it was coming from. But I believe it was anxiety. It was just anxiety. I knew I had a 6-hour flight with a little dog. and handling luggage by myself and wearing a mask, and so I got here, and I was like, oh, thank you.
Hoping the luggage doesn't pop open.
Right.
Yeah.
So one time I actually had luggage, and I brought a back. It was like a back thing that you could put on, and it would vibrate on your back and make your back feel good. And I guess it was turned on, and people are like, "Oh God, her vibrator's going off in there."
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh my gosh! Too cute.
What else did you have that you might wanted to bring up, honey? Anything? You're right, Craig. There was no product placement. You're absolutely right, and I love that. Yep.
Great. I think the undercurrent, the theme all the way through was remembering love. Remember love. Remember love. Remember who you love. Remember who they are.
Remember to remember.
And remember. Because I think that is the spark that helps us identify spirit to spirit rather than just being to being. And there are people in your lives that you'll meet that, you instantly have that spark with, and that you know them, even though you've never really met them before, and that's that remembering. And so the remembering, I think, comes from having experiences, maybe in past lives, maybe even in different planets, in different past lives.
Never know. That's
right. Who knows where they're coming from?
I don't want to be one of those sucker fish, though. Please, not that.
Okay. No. If you became a sucker fish, I would be a puffer fish. I'd be floating around with all those spikes.
Oh
no, but anyway, yeah. So the remembering, I think, is really key in all circumstances, and just really allowing that memory to bring the color back to your cheeks, and allowing it to warm your heart again, and allowing it to just fill you with a sense of you are worthy of being loved, you are loved, and here's the memory of it. Even if life is hard, that is sometimes your only source of having enough energy to get through the day, to crawl out of bed, whatever it is. That heart energy, yes, you are loved. And there it is. It's right there. Yep. It's inside.
Absolutely. And the possibilities are endless. I agree with you, Swan. Yeah.
Yes.
I just want to bring back, we talked about it before, but I want to talk, the choice of changing identity, let roles get out of the way. So you're not just my son, you're not just my friend. There were no titles, no labels. Heaven means becoming who you want.
Yes.
But we can do that on earth, as you have said. Many in hell are guilty of the greatest sin, which is despair. They don't believe they have any hope. And that's why Max von Sydow says, they can't see you. They can't see you. And it's also they're probably like 5D and they're 3D, so they can't see you.
Yes, that's
that hit me really big this time because, we didn't talk about that back then. But I thought, that's really, really wow,
Right.
It's amazing.
It's really amazing. It's, that reconnecting, that allowing it just gets so blocked. And I think sometimes in grief that similar thing happens where you can't see because the pain is so hard. And I had this experience once where I was suicidal. I couldn't get out of bed. I had 2 children who were taking care of me, and they were 9 and 6. Okay, so they were
So the
babies,
guilt
and they
too. You got guilt as well.
they were taking care of me. But you know, it's one of those things too where it's like in a snap of a moment, you can flip it. You can suddenly come out of it. And it's that knowing that the connection is always there. Once you have a connection with someone that you love, it doesn't go away.
Doesn't
It's
go away
part
just because they're not there. Yeah,
right. It
part of
becomes
you.
a part of you. Yeah, it becomes a part of you, which is really glorious,
Also,
right?
well, friends, of course, but certainly family DNA. That's definite. But friends too. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a piece of them in you because you knew them. Yeah.
Yes. And they gave
So
you that piece too. Yeah.
yeah.
They gave you love. They gave it to you. It was free. You didn't have to buy it. You didn't have to earn it. They just said, here, Allie, I want you to have this. Have it. You know, it's yours. It's a good thing. It's love. It's my love to you. And you know, and that's incredible that we do that with each other without even sort of realizing that that's what we're doing. Energetically, that's what we're doing. Yeah.
That is what we're doing. Yeah.
So
Vicky says she understands it was a plot point. And I want to say that the book is not the same as the movie. I want to tell you all right at this moment, remember, I'm a literature teacher and I apologize, but the book is always better than the movie. Always. I don't think there's one book. There's some that are equal because they've done a really, really good job with it, but they leave out so much. Usually they Hollywoodize something or they have to add sex to it to make it palatable. But the book is always better. And I love movies. I'm a movie buff, but you know, I like to read the book and then watch the movie, you know, see the differences. Yeah.
And you know, if we could talk about the suicide element of judgment and, you know, culture and organized religion and, you know, that power play that comes in where they say, oh no, these are the rules. Where actually, if you take a look at what we know of from other elements like universal laws, or even looking at nature and understanding that nature always comes back. She always comes back. She always grows again.
Absolutely. It's all cyclical, just like we are. Yes. Yeah. And so that brings something really good here. Mars and Gemini is saying it's the fool's journey, also the fool in the major arcana. But it's course correction, so we may see the light. And this is the deal. You start out here on the fool's journey or the hero's journey, depending on which way you look at it. And you go around and you go through trials and problems and this and that and this and that. And then you finally find your treasure, and then you start to go back and there's more problems. They don't go away. And then, but you resolve them, you learn how to deal with them. And then you're back to point one again, and you get to do that circle over and over again.
Yeah, over and over. You know, the fool card always reminds me of when I was a little girl and I was running away from home. You know what? Like a hobo, right? Because he's got the stick and he's got the little bag of stuff. Only my bag was pretty big. It was always really heavy. It was always really heavy to run away from home. So I wouldn't get very far enough. And then I would wonder if they noticed I was gone. I was in a really big family. They were really busy all the time.
Yeah, maybe they don't even know. Yeah.
They didn't even notice. Time to go home. I'm hungry.
Like Home Alone when Kevin gets left behind and they get there and they're like, Kevin? Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was so cute. So cute.
Yeah, Anita, I'm the same way. I like it. If there is a book, I like to do that. Yes. Mary says, in grief forgiveness, we can be blocked, and it's so liberating when we let it go and let it be and stomp out the fear. Thank you, Mary.
Absolutely, Mary.
Yep. Oh, hello, Cosmic Blue Avian. It's nice to see you. We're all one with the Source Creator, mirrors of each other. Love and compassion. That's it. Absolutely. I wonder about people that aren't spiritual, and I don't mean they're even religious, watching this movie, if they could get anything out of it or not, but they may not like it at all. They may not even watch it because they don't, it doesn't attract them. And it's almost like you're preaching to the choir when people like us watch these movies. But they're also really good affirmations for us, I think. That other people have the same ideas. At least it's a movie idea. and the same ideas we do, and we're not alone in that idea. So,
well, the Star Wars is all about the James Campbell journey. He was interviewed
Joseph
about that.
Campbell.
Joseph Campbell, sorry. Yes,
Yep.
Joseph
Mm-hmm.
Campbell. And so I guess it just is how you frame it for different people's perspectives, whether or not they get something out of it or whether they don't get something out of it. I love having a new idea pop in or seeing it on the screen and having something go, oh, wow, that's a really cool way of looking at it. That's awesome.
It really is. Yes.
There are a lot of people that absolutely zone out. It's almost like, for me, if somebody says, well, music is just background, that's just something that plays in the background. Oh, no. We are in different planets. I don't know that we're going to ever come together on that one.
I agree.
So everybody's journeys is can be very, very different, and then there's always the reality too that we are doing the same journeys and don't even know, right? That we can support
because there
each
are
other.
travelers along the way, and some of those travelers stay with us, and some were just there for a moment. And I felt that way in the movie as well, because he was walking first with his son, actually, but wasn't it? It was his son. Except it wasn't. It was a doctor or something that he knew. And then he goes in, and then later on, this girl that talks to him and walks him around. She's Asian, so you would never think that would be his daughter. But it was just that it didn't matter. Souls are souls; they can inhabit any body. They don't have to look, like what we think they look like. Yeah.
Very interesting that actress played a spirit in the movie The Shack. I don't know if you've ever seen that or not, but that's another one.
Seen it, but people are mentioning it over. I read the book. I did.
Very powerful, very, very powerful. She played the spirit or the wind, as they described her, and collected tears. And so that was the other thing that I was going to mention too, is that well, I was going to mention something that's completely gone out the other side of my head now. It'll come back in. It'll come back in at some point.
It will come back tonight at midnight when you wake up
and call you. I'll have to remember how many hours ahead you are, though, first.
I have to mention this because Jackie is in the chat, and there were purple jacaranda trees in this, and they represent Annie's grief and loss. And Jackie Jacaranda's in this, so I that's why I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it. First thing I thought of was Jackie when I saw that there were jacaranda trees, but there is some point to that. And again, they were the purple that come together, like you said, and that was perfect exchange.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. So I did remember what it was. He said at one point, I went to the depths of hell for you. My love is so strong for you. I went to the depths of hell for you, to bring you with me, to bring you back. But if you don't come with me, I still have to go back. And it reminded me of all the fairy tales about the saving or killing the beast for the princess that's trapped in the castle. Okay, so so the message of the action enforcing and proving the amount of love, right? It wasn't just words. It wasn't just words. You got to go out and slay the dragon, right? You go slay the dragon. You slay the dragon.
And we do have to show it. Yeah, we do have to show it. People will say, I'll say to my husband, he'll say, I love you. And I said, can you show it more? Because some days I don't feel like it. I just don't feel like it. And all you have to do is just kiss my arm or give me a kiss or bring me a coffee.
Mine's tearing out the bathroom. Remodeling the bathroom. Yeah, it's amazing.
So Jackie said that's why she chose the name. And look she's got purple hair.
Oh, beautiful.
Jackie, I didn't know that. I thought that was your real name. That's wonderful.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. And Scott said the girl was an Asian stewardess because the dad said he thought they were beautiful. So sometimes what our words say translated obviously to something else. And so be careful.
And the daughter remembered. And she remembered.
Yes.
She remembered what Daddy loved. So yeah, beautiful.
Isn't that cool? Yeah.
It's very
So sometimes even simple words can do that.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, Swampy's a big music person like you. She agrees that, music is wonderful to have first thing in the morning. And I love that idea, the gongs and all that stuff.
Yep.
Well, I guess we could probably just keep talking, but it was wonderful to be here. It was wonderful. Thank you.
I'm so glad we got to do this.
I know. I am too. Before I completely
fun.
forgot the movie again and all the points I wanted to make. I appreciate those in the chat, everybody in the chat for coming,
Yes.
for posting, and also thank you for posting the other folks' channels. And when Kate gets a channel, we'll be posting hers. And
I know.
And I know
It's kind of hard to do. It's hard to do when the bathroom is suddenly in the dining room. So it's like I'm trying, but I keep shifting places where I can go because the house is getting remodeled. So
it's kind of messy.
It's a lot of pounding and dust, and
it'll be a long winter, Kate. You'll be able to do it then. As long as he's not still ripping stuff apart.
I know, right? Pounding and sawing. So do you want to say we'll be in touch for the next movie?
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have a couple shows coming up. We have to verify with the people. But we'll do another movie. Movie. I'll put up a poll again, and you pick this one, and I go with, I have some ideas now.
Yeah.
I'll put up a poll, or if anybody has an idea they want to run by that they'd like to have us talk about here, just send us. So you can send it to Kate at Dream Detectives. It's the Dream Detectives at gmail.com, and Kate will get back to you about it.
Hey. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love that. Yeah, because
thanks for all the shares, everybody. Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's so good.
Tomorrow, I'll be on tomorrow with the mediums again. And I have some other things that are in the works, but it was wonderful to come back with you, Kate, and all the folks.
Always.
And I just enjoyed it so much. Thank you.
Me too.
Hi, Terry.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Sweet dreams.